Today, we will be going through proper measuring techniques. As a pre-assessment, we will first be going through true or false test questions as a class. If you think the answer is true, give a thumbs up. If you think the answer is false, give a thumbs down. First question. True or false? Dry measuring cups can be used to measure liquid ingredients. Thumbs up if you think it's true, thumbs down if you think it's false. Ready? It is false. Dry measuring cups can be used for powders, such as flour or baking powder, granule ingredients, such as sugar and salt, or pastes, like shortening or peanut butter. So remember, don't put liquids in dry measuring cups. Next question. True or false? Flour should be measured in a dry measuring cup and should be spooned in and leveled off. What do you guys think? True or false? Ready? Good job if you answered true. Flour should be measured in a dry measuring cup and should be spooned in and leveled off in order to get an accurate measurement. Next question. True or false? Liquids needs to be measured in a liquid measuring cup on a flat surface and at eye level. Ready? This is true as well. Liquid does need to be measured on a flat surface, so I do not want to see you guys holding the cup up in the air and trying to pour the liquid in it. You need to make sure it's on your countertop and go down to eye level to get that accurate reading. Next question. True or false? Pastes, such as peanut butter or shortening, should be scooped in and leveled off. What do you guys think? Okay, the answer is false. Paste should be packed in instead in order to avoid air pockets that might be created. So we would use this technique for measuring shortening or peanut butter or brown sugar. Okay, one more question. Okay, brown sugar should be measured by packing it in a dry measuring cup. You all should all get this because I kind of just told you the answer if you remember. You guys ready? Okay, good job if you remembered. The answer is true. We pack in brown sugar just like we would pack in a paste, such as shortening or peanut butter. Okay, so now we're going to watch a demonstration that I prepared for you where I show you the proper measuring techniques. I want you guys to pay attention, make sure you listen for the 4 different types of measuring techniques that I'm going to talk about, and I want you to listen when we use each one, okay? This picture shows the different types of measuring equipment, the liquid measuring cup at the top, and the dry measuring cups and spoons shown at the bottom. Scales can also be used for an accurate measurement for ingredients. However, the most common forms of measuring equipment are the liquid measuring cups and the dry measuring cups, and what we will be using primarily in class. Today, I will show you how to accurately measure using the different types of equipment. When measuring with liquid ingredients, you use a liquid measuring cup. It has the markings on the side and is used exclusively for liquid. In order to properly measure, you need to make sure it's on a flat surface and pour the amount you want into the cup. When looking to make sure it's the right amount, you have to go down to eye level. So if I want a half a cup, I need to see it down here, and then I know I'm accurately at a half. If I stand above, my measurement looks off. Dry ingredients, there's several different ways to measure. You can either scoop in, spoon in, or pack in, and it depends on the different ingredient that you're using. When using powders such as flour or powdered sugar, you use the spoon in and level off method. To do that, I simply stir up my flour in this case because I want to loosen up any clumps that may give me an inaccurate reading. I spoon into the cup, going over the limit, and then I will level off with either a spatula or the straight edge back of a knife. This will give me an accurate measurement. Another way is simply to scoop in, which is what you use for granule ingredients such as Chazolles. That's exactly like it sounds. You don't have to worry about spooning it in. You just simply have to scoop and then level off. The last way is to pack in. Pack-in is used for brown sugar or pastes such as peanut butter or shortening to eliminate air pockets that might otherwise be created. In order to use this method, you spoon in the ingredients but then pack it in tightly in the bottom of the cup. Once I've packed the ingredients in tightly, I can go ahead and scrape off this top layer. You'll know you have done it accurately if when you put it down, it holds its shape. So those are the different ways to measure both your liquid and your dry ingredients, so have fun. All right, so I'm not going to make you watch the credits, even though I did do a great job on them. Okay. So some important things to remember that I showed you is the brown sugar, especially, I packed it in really tightly so when you put it out, it held its shape. And I want to see when you guys measure, when we do the lab in a couple minutes, I want you to be packing in tightly and putting it down so I can see those little sand castles almost so that you guys have created. Okay, right now I want you to get in your groups and we're going to do a pair and share activity. So in your lab groups, pick a partner and I want you to discuss the following questions, okay? So number one, what are the 3 different types of measuring for dry measuring cups? And I want you to provide examples of ingredients used for each method. If you have questions about one of the ingredients, go ahead, raise your hand. I'll come by. Try to think of ingredients that maybe I haven't talked about yet in the video. Okay, and then number 2, what is important to accurately measure liquid ingredients? And 3, what is the most accurate way to measure, although we rarely use this in lab? Avoid the typo. I realized it says allow meant although. This isn't why I'm not an English teacher, guys. Don't tell the one down the hall. Okay, so the students will have some time to do that, but I'm going to move on to the next activity for sake of time. All right, so let's go over your chocolate chip cookie recipe that we're going to be making in lab today. Okay, so this recipe, it uses all the different measuring techniques that I have discussed. So let's go through each ingredient together as a class, make sure we know how to measure properly in order to have excellent cookies that you guys are going to be able to eat at the end of class. As we go through this recipe, make sure you add notes to your own recipe that I handed out to you so you can have that as a reference to look back on. Okay, so let's start with ingredients that we pack. What are those ingredients? Okay, yes, it is shortening and brown sugar. Those are the ingredients that we use when we're packing in tightly. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What ingredients will be scooped in and leveled off? All right, any of the granule ingredients. In this recipe, it is sugar and salt. Now keep in mind, the salt is a really small quantity, so I don't expect you guys to do anything special. Obviously use your teaspoon, but I want these methods still apply for any type of granule ingredient or any recipe. Let's move on to spoon and leveled. Oh, I already showed you the answers. Okay, so it's flour and baking soda. Okay, so the flour and the baking soda are both powders. And same thing with the baking soda that I just kind of talked about with the salt is, even though it's a really small ingredient, so go ahead, use your teaspoon. I don't expect you to take another spoon and put it in and level it off. Go ahead and just use it. But think if we were making this same recipe, but the quantity we were making was for a restaurant, there would be a lot more baking soda, and the same principles still apply for this ingredient, which is what I really want you to remember. All right, and our last ingredient, our last method technique, excuse me, is liquid measuring. So we only have a couple choices, so let's see what they are. For the milk and the vanilla, we will get down on the eye level and put our liquids in. Now, remember that in your cupboard you have your glass 1 cup liquid measuring, but you also have those little like shot glass measuring cups. You all see them in your cupboards. They have 2 tablespoons is the max for that liquid measuring, and they also have teaspoon markings on the side. So I want to see you guys using your teaspoon in the glass liquid little measuring cup instead of just using one of your dry measuring spoons, okay? I want you guys to get in the habit of using the correct measuring tool for the technique that you guys need to use. This will make your recipes turn out much better and taste a lot better as well. Okay, so now that we have learned the principles, you guys can come up. We're going to start our lab. You guys can start cooking. I want each group member to be in charge of one of the measuring techniques we discussed. There's 4 of you in a group, so one of you take packed, one of you take spooned, scooped, and liquid, okay? So for example, those who are getting the packed ingredients will get the flour, we'll get the brown sugar and the, what was the other ingredient on there? Shortening. Sorry that slide's kind of funny. But packed ingredients would get brown sugar and shortening, for example. And then make sure that only one person comes to the demo cart at a time. So have one member of your team go and then come back to the table. That way everyone's not at the demo cart at once, okay? So have fun cooking, and learning never tasted so good, right guys?